Right, this will be the trade recap for Monday, June 23rd, 2025. So, looking at the pre market plan, this was kind of a pre market screenshot. Price was kind of moving a little bit odd just overnight, most likely because of what's happening in the world right now with Iran. Um, but we had this key level down here, which pretty much bounced off price, and then these two previous key levels we had, 6005 and 6040, from our charting over the weekend, held pretty nicely uh, in this pre-market session. So the two main moves I was watching for was pretty much just breakout of either one of these two key levels. The 6040, I wanted to see a break and retest into the 6075. And then if we broke the 6005 level, I wanted to look for it to hold as resistance for a possible test of the 6090s here, or no, the 5990s, sorry, into the 5980s. Um, yep, that's exactly what I wrote down here. So if we look at the market, price dips at the open, pretty weak, and then gets bought up, and then from there it's just a kind of slow grind up into our key level. Now I want to look at this move right here, which gave me a crap ton of FOMO, because you can see the level broke, retested a little bit lower, but level still held, and we got a nice fat rally. Now, two reasons why I avoided this. Number one, and the main one, it's we had news at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. And as you can see, nothing super crazy happened off that. Um, but I'm not in the business of gambling, and getting in right before a news scandal or a news event, I should say, is definitely gambling. So stayed out of that. On top of that, the break of 6040 wasn't insanely strong. I guess I technically had 3-8 marked, and we broke up to the 41. So that's like a 3 point break. Um, for a break and retest setup, that's not really the break I like. This is a good retest, good aggressive retest, but I would have liked it to be above here. So kind of stayed out of that. Um, News candle happened. We continued the rally. I'm starting to get a ton of FOMO. Um, and at this point, I'm willing to take a shot at this long setup on an aggressive pullback, above 6040, because if you look at this aggressive rally right here, what it left behind on the tape was this area of low volume from about the 40, you know, 45 and a halfs to about the 40s, and kind of down there too. But just this general area with not much volume, low volume node. It's right where we came to retest. And when I saw that aggressive pullback get defended, aggressive pullback starts to get defended, buying coming out of that, out of the low volume area, I get long at 47.5 right down here. So what are my confirmations? Aggressive pullback into low volume node. And this is only significant because of the overall context. I'm looking at a break and retest setup from this key level to this key level. That low volume node puts itself in right above the key level, and we get that pullback. So that's why I got in the trade. Now let's look at how it was managed. Not the best. Okay, here's my entry. 9 lots at the 47.5s, like I said. Um, Start getting some run up right away. And I was starting to get super emotional right here when we started kind of wicking out at this high of day area. And I wanted to hold, I wanted to be patient, but I told myself I'd let myself cut one lot early just to kind of let the emotions settle themselves. And that didn't work. That just led to me cutting another two 1 minute before my price target was hit. Now, the rest of these were some pretty good scale outs. All of these were at 2R and above. 2R was the 54.50. And then this I had a trailing stop on. And then after this kind of recent term support got put in, I put a trailing down there, which got taken. Um, So yeah, really not a terrible trade, but besides this scale right here, these two should have been taken for at least 3 more points each. That's $30 right there. Not the end of the world, but doing that on every winning trade, really starts to cut into your profit. And at the end of the day, not following your rules on a winner is just as bad as not following your rules on a loser, or perhaps taking a setup that isn't good and breaking your rules in that way. Um, but yeah, still a pretty solid trade. Um, Good setup, good job reacting to the flows of the market, seeing the strength and going with it, waiting for a good entry. Um, Even though some like this one would have worked out, it wasn't completely aligned with my system, so I stayed out, and that's great. That's good discipline. Um, yeah, patience pays off. Just need to have more trust in my setups. All right.